Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and Viksit Bharat at 2047 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं पुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, on 26 November, every year, we are commemorating and celebrating World Sustainable Transport Day. What is sustainable transport? Before that, globally, the average annual carbon footprint for individual is 5.9 tons. Living car-free can reduce your annual carbon footprint by 3.6 tons, and switching from a regular vehicle to an electric vehicle, EV, can reduce your carbon footprint by an average of 2 tons per year. So, transport is vital for promoting connectivity, trade, economic growth, and employment. Yet, it is also implicated as a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions. Resolving these trade-offs is essential to achieving sustainable transport and through sustainable development. In its 2016 report, the Secretary General's High-Level Advisory Group defined sustainable transport as the provision of services and infrastructure from the mobility of people and goods, advancing economic and social development to benefit today's and future generations in a manner that is safe, affordable, accessible, efficient, and resilient, while minimizing carbon and other emissions and environmental impacts. Sustainable transport is therefore not an end in itself, but a means to achieve sustainable development. So, sustainable transport, sustainable development with the objectives of universal access, enhanced safety, reduced environmental and climate impact, improved resilience, and greater efficiency is central to sustainable development. Apart from providing services and infrastructure for the mobility of people and goods, sustainable transport is a cross cutting accelerator that can fast track progress towards other crucial goals, such as eradicating poverty in all its dimensions, reducing inequality, empowering women, and combating climate change. So in 2023, the General Assembly declared the first ever United Nations Decade of Sustainable Transport to start in 2026. The launch of UN Decade of Sustainable Transport will consist of an opening, a high-level segment, showcase of voluntary commitments, and an interactive multi-stakeholder roundtable. It will launch implementation plan, which was developed by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, UNDESA, in collaboration with the Regional Commission and in constitution with member states. The UN system and all other relevant stakeholders, the meeting will be open to all those in possession of valid UN grounds passes for the UN HQ in New York and up to the capacity of conference room. Representatives without a valid UN grounds pass could register to request special event ticket through the before 2nd December. You can also register if you are willing to, join offline at UN headquarters. So when we look at the background, recognizing an important role of safe, sustainable, affordable, accessible transport systems for all in supporting sustainable economic growth, improving the social welfare of the people, and enhancing international cooperation and trade among countries, the General Assembly decided to declare 26 November as the World Sustainable Transport Day. So it also noted the importance of cooperation in enhancing transport connectivity through an integrated intermodal transport system by developing quality, reliable, sustainable, and resilient infrastructure, exchanging best practices to optimize the development of interconnected highways, roads, streets, railways, waterways, airways, areas of modal transfer, and ports, and by encouraging transport infrastructure construction and operations to minimize consumption of energy, land, and other resources, generate lower emissions of greenhouse gases, ozone depleting substances, and other pollutants, and ensure a positive social impact. So, the first World Sustainable Transport Day reminds us that the road to a better future depends on a cleaner and greener transportation systems. Transportation represents the world's circulatory system delivering people and goods across the countries and around the world, creating jobs and supporting prosperity. But it is also fueling climate chaos. The transportation sector is responsible for approximately one quarter of all greenhouse gas emissions. 91% of the energy used in motorized transport on land, sea, and air is derived from fossil fuels. This makes the sector one of the most difficult to decarbonize. But humanity is up to the challenge of breaking our addiction to climate killing fossil fuels and creating resilient, efficient, and low carbon transportation system grounded in innovative renewable energy sources. From electric and solar powered vehicles to renewable aviation fuel sources to massive investment in green public transportation system to measure like carbon pricing and subsidies for the low carbon fuels, we can steer our societies towards a cleaner and more sustainable path for people and planet. Today is also commemorated as International Cake Day on November 26th. Each year, Cake is a baked food usually made out of flour, sugar, and other ingredients. In the oldest forms, cakes were modifications of bread, a more sophisticated type, but these days cakes cover a wide range of baked sweets such as pastries, pies, etc. Cake is often served on ceremonial occasions such as weddings, anniversaries, and birthdays. There are numerous cake recipes, many of which are centuries old. Today is also commemorated as World Lewis Day, which is observed on November 26, serves to raise awareness about the hundreds of koalas who have passed or have been displaced due to recent Australian bushfires and encourages people to donate to charity groups working to help them in any way they can. The AKF is a non-profit and non-government organization dedicated to the conservation and effective management of the koala and its habitat. Visit their site to figure out how you can help make a difference. If you live in koala inhabited area, plant eucalyptus in your yard to another source of food. The recent Australian fires not only burned down the homes of hundreds of koalas but also leaves they need to survive. Planting gum trees gives you local koalas a fighting chance. Hundreds of koalas are still displaced due to recent Australian bushfire. If you live in Australia, volunteer to help locate the furry marsupials and bring them to the nearest koala hospital. So prior to the viral video, very few people outside of Australia were aware of the roaring bushes harming not only koalas but also other wildlife and people. Because of Lewis, thousands of are rushing to donate to the families and koalas who have lost their homes due to its devastating occurrence. So people living near Australia's recent fire zone are rushing to volunteer. Lewis' rescue and his fight in the hospital brought to the light just how dangerous the conditions are of hundreds of other koalas in need of help. Tony Doherty, the Australian Grandmaster seen in the viral video, used the shot of her back in order to rescue Lewis, who had climbed up a tree to escape the flames. Tony put herself in danger and risked her own life in order to save the life of a small creature. She has inspired countless people to keep an eye out for local wildlife who may be in need of rescue of their own. Today is also commemorated as What You Do Love About America Day on US on November 26th, which is annually celebrated. That falls 6 days after the third Thursday in November, that is on November 26th. This day falls around Thanksgiving, but it is dedicated to giving thanks to America. Often people forget how many in the world are struggling to get basic rights when others are afforded privileges they don't even recognize. So there are so many reasons. This country is great, but this time for you to take a moment and remember what makes the America great for you. Celebrate by showing your appreciation and expressing your gratitude, not just in US, but across countries, across the world, in whichever country you are. Celebrate and value the freedom you have got. Today is also commemorated as National Taiwan On Day, especially in the US. Bake love every year on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving on November 26th this year. So on Thanksgiving Eve, apron wearers all over America share some love with someone around them with a loaf of bread and an apron. Apron clad people in their homes put a sweet little note in an apron, wrap a loaf of bread in it, and deliver it to anyone who they would like to show a little Love from neighbors to gardeners, friends, and work colleagues. National Tie One on Day is a day to put the give back in Thanksgiving. Tie on Taiwan on Day or Two Day is an often called isn't about the apron or the apron wearer. It's about the love. Even though National Taiwan on Day is traditionally celebrated by women who cook it, it can extend to anyone who is looking to spread some TLC to someone near them. If you can't bake a loaf of bread, you can buy one from the grocery store and support the bakers. Today is also commemorated as National Law Day in India, National Constitution Day, or also known as Samvidhan Divas, which is celebrated on India on every November 26 to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India. Constitution Day is not a public holiday, but however, government departments, schools, colleges, universities across the country acknowledge the day with various events and activities. As per the Department of Education and Literacy, the preamble of the Constitution is read in all schools by all students. Also, there are quiz and essay competitions both online and offline. On the subject, the Department of Higher Education also requests various universities to arrange mock parliament debates in colleges. On November 26, 1949, the Constituent Assembly of India formally adopted the Constitution of India. It came into force on January 26, 1950. Constitution Day aims to bring awareness about the importance of the Constitution, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, chairman of the drafting committee, is considered to be the chief architect of the Constitution of India. He is also called the father of Indian Constitution. The Constitution of India was drafted by the members of the Constituent Assembly. The Constitution is a set of written principles and precedents of the Government of India. It frames fundamental policies, political principles, procedures, rights, directive principles, restrictions, and duties of the government and citizens of the country. The Constitution of India declares the country a sovereign, secular, socialist, and democratic republic. It assures its citizens equality, liberty, and justice. The preamble is a brief statement which records the aims and aspirations of the people in India. The Constitution of India reads, "We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation." In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. From 1947 to 1950, India continued to use the legislation implemented when it was a dominion of Britain. In the meantime, the Constituent Assembly drafted the Constitution of India, which would replace the Government of India Act 1935 as the country's fundamental governing document. The Constitution was drawn from several sources, while India needs and conditions were given paramount importance. B.R. Ambedkar studied the Constitution of over 60 countries before drafting the Constitution of India. Now, various programs are held by ministries and departments throughout the year to spread thoughts and ideas of Ambedkar across the country. Today is also commemorated as National Jukebox Day on November 26 in US, which is the day before every Thanksgiving on November 26 this year. Music is the soundtrack of our lives, and this day celebrates the jukebox, shining some light on the device that brought and still brings music into our lives in a special way. The jukebox has a rich history. The nostalgia it carries is unparalleled. It has been around for era after the modern music from jazz to country and blues to rock. Celebrate this historic Mission Day today as you visit hometown restaurants and bars in preparation for Thanksgiving with family and friends. Today is also commemorated as National Health Day on November 26th that occurs every year. This is a day where people all across the globe take their time to celebrate and appreciate all healths worldwide. Today is also commemorated as Good Grief Day in US. The world celebrates Good Grief Day on November 26th every year to honor the life and legacy of one of the America's most revered legendary cartoonists, Charles M. Schulz. Schulz is best known as author of Peanuts comic strip, and his stories and the characters have brought boundless delight to the globe. The fact that these characters, Snoopy, Charles Brown, and the rest of the gang have withstood the test of time demonstrates how influential these legendary characters have on the global pop culture. Today is also commemorated as Anti-Obesity Day in US, which is observed on November 26th of every calendar year. The goal of this day is to highlight how obesity is a public health hazard and encourage people to work towards ending it. It was created in 2001 by the Indian wellness brand VLCC with the active involvement of the medical fraternity and other key stakeholders in all countries where it has a presence as part of annual campaign conducted in November, December to promote the development of good lifestyle habits to stay healthy and fit. Today is also commemorated as National Farm City Week on November 26 to December 3rd, 2025. This annual event is marked during the week leading to Thanksgiving. It celebrates and recognizes the lucrative partnership between rural and urban communities that make American food safe and generous. People all over the world, especially all over the country, celebrate farmers and ranchers through educational forums, social media campaigns, and local events. Their contribution complements the economy with jobs and provides rich harvests to feed the population. Farmers also benefit from urban centers, restaurants, groceries, and production producers ensure that expanded use of agriculture products, whether they provide consumers with food, medicine, or textiles, they also have economic impact on their cities and rural communities. This week is also commemorated as National Deal Week from November 26 to December 2nd in US. It was created by Deal News to celebrate the heaviest online spending period of the year, including Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Black Friday originated from a dark day in American history, a stock market catastrophe. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are two of the heaviest shopping periods in the year. They are the time of the year with the biggest deals on discounts, with consumers jostling to save up on expenses. Black Friday occurs on the Friday after Thanksgiving Day, and Cyber Monday is following Monday after Thanksgiving Day. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us in today's commemorations and celebrations. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different celebrations and commemorations. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been shared in the form of votes.